I'd like to call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for November 10th, 2021. The current time now is 6 o'clock. I'd like to start the prayer and the pledge. The prayer led by Councilman Paul Landry and the pledge led by Councilman Napier. Councilman Landry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Let's bow our head and say to our Father.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Councilman Napier?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, council members. Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Michael Landry.
Here.
John Viator.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Goshasane.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
James Trahan. Scott Rossonay.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Fontenette Brown. Marty Trahan.
Here.
Chad Montreal.
Here.
13 members in a quorum. I'll need a motion to go into public comments. Have a motion by Councilman Brown and a second by Councilman Pollard. Is there any discussion, members? Hear no discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hear no opposition. The ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Now into public comments. Madam Clerk, number one.
Comments from the general public on non-agenda items. Ms. Sarah
who's the
Fawcett
second?
Gary from the Acadiana Planning Commission to update the council about Iberia Parish projects from the Acadiana Planning Commission and the Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Just for the record, I was incorrect. There is 12 members present. Go ahead, Ms. Gary. Welcome.
Good afternoon or good night. Welcome. It's great to see all of you guys again. I hope everybody's doing well. So I'm here at the request of Miss Cindy to come and President Richard to update you guys on your MPO projects that you have with us. So the first one I'll start with is the LA 675 at Airport Road Roundabout project. That is currently under design with Finstamaker, who is the project engineer. They are currently working on the right-of-way maps, or I should say finalizing those right-of-way maps. Once the right-of-way maps are finalized, then the right-of-way acquisition process can begin, which takes about a year when you're buying right-of-way with federal dollars. And then while they're purchasing right-of-way, Finstamaker can start working toward the final plan process. So that is, anybody have any questions about that one before I go on to the second one?
Any questions, members? Hearing none.
Okay. So the next project you guys have with us is the South Lewis Street widening. This is actually currently being advertised for engineering with DOTD. Advertisement started November 8th of this year. It is open until December 2nd. So essentially, if there's an engineering firm that wants to bid on the engineering process for this, they would submit all their application and everything into DOTD by December 2nd. From there, the process from basically advertisement to awarding an engineer is about a 2 to 3 month process. And then from there, they can go into design, which will probably take about a year, which would then allow them to, during the design process, that's how you get the right-of-way map, so that's how you know how much right-of-way needs to be purchased. And then from there, they'll go into right-of-way acquisition. Any utility relocations will happen at that point in time, and then into construction. Does anybody have any questions about that one?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Can you move it faster?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you, sir. The project.
Oh, the project.
This is
Oh,
fine.
sorry.
I want the Lewis Street project. That feels like a lifetime. Thank you, Ms. Gary.
You're
Go ahead.
welcome. I'll see what I can do, but the next project we have is the local road safety project. President Richard is going to sign the entity state agreement for that one. That's a bunch of stripings on various different roads throughout the parish. Once that happens, DOTD will finish up whatever little design they have left, and then the striping project will start. I actually think there may be some signs involved in there, but I'm not quite sure because this project kind of started before I got here. And then the other one is the Safe Routes to Public Places, and that's a sidewalk project. As far as I know, that one, the entity state has been signed on that, and so that'll be designed and then actually put in the ground. So, any questions on any of the safety projects?
Are there any questions for Ms. Gary? Councilman Pollard is recognized.
When you say that, I didn't quite understand when you said that there was engineer was getting with the parish for the striping. Can you tell me that date again?
So it's not, they're going to sign, President Richard on Friday will sign the entity state agreement.
Okay.
This is all handled through DOTD, through the DOT. And they will then from there finish up, they usually design these striping projects in-house, so it's all done through headquarters. And then from there they'll start, they have an engineer on, I don't know if this is a retainer contract that they use for this because it is safety, so I'm not, it's a little different than what we do for our normal like MPO projects because there's no match on this. But I think they either have a retainer engineer that, and I say engineer, a retainer firm that does the striping for them. But they have from what we understand, there's only a few little minor details done to finish working out before they can actually start the striping.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
hopefully within the next, I'm going to say 6 months, probably less than that, like they should be able to start striping
Okay.
some of the roads.
Councilman
Thank you.
Pollard, does that answer your question?
Yes. thank
Councilman
you.
Pollard yields back. Anyone else? Hearing none? Oh, I'm sorry, Parish President Richard.
If you're looking at this is $128,000 of federal funds to do this particular project, and you know that we just received our striping machine, and we want to
Correct.
start doing some striping as well. We've identified or picked a engineering company to help us with some of the streets that we have, like Darnell Road, that needed really, really, really bad. There's no striping at all.
I don't
Yeah.
see that on there.
It's not on there.
No,
This
it's
is
gonna be
one that we're
in-house.
looking to do. We're gonna have to do that ourselves. Well, I guess my thing is that we're gonna have to get an engineering company to give us some estimates to be able to tell us where these striping is gonna be. Now, when you look at all of those streets, and it's only costing $128,000, the reason I'm mentioning this right now is because we are in budget, and you know we're gonna be doing a few things. I've spoken to the chairman so far, and some things that I would like to do with lost revenue dollars. So Warren, the reason I'm mentioning this is just coming to my mind right now. Some of the streets that we have, like Troy, Darnell, other streets that we may have in the parish, we may just try to get a quote from a vendor to try to help us out a little bit more. And if we can do this amount of, this is a lot of streets, this is a lot of striping. For $128,000, we might be able to do a lot with some of that money that we have that's
Well,
coming.
I just
from-
have a question. How we got these roads determined? Because Marty will tell you, Jasper to Miguez isn't a long stretch.
This was done
so-
by the state.
Okay, so the
I
state
didn't
actually
know.
came in and picked
Absolutely,
these.
yeah.
So it's
Yes.
It's
non-political. It's
right.
based on state-
It's actually not even that they chose them. How it works is it's a safety issue. So we look at crashes.
That's right.
So it's all based on crash data, whether it's serious or fatal injury crashes. It could be people running off of roads, that type of stuff. And so it's all, these roads were picked based upon the number of essentially either crashes, people running off the road type of data.
Point well taken.
Yeah.
sir.
And some of these roads, really and truthfully, we could have striped this in-house, such as
Yeah.
Hazard, Miguez, Jasper Road. Those roads are not that bad as far as striping. These are low traffic, low speed, not, roads. But listen, they're gonna do it for us,
Hey,
so we certainly
all
want
about
them to
it.
do it.
Great.
Anyway, I'm done.
Parish President, you finished?
I'm done, thank you.
Anyone else?
And so the second street you have in the handout is just every year as the MPO we're required to do what's called an annual list of obligated projects. And so that's any federal dollars that were obligated, whether they came through our program or through the DOT. And so this is just kind of a listing just so you guys know what federal dollars and where they were spent within your parish. So it's just a little tool we like to give to you guys just so that way you guys can see that, there are federal dollars hard at work in your parish.
Good. Any questions from Ms. Gary before she leaves? Ms. Gary, is there a surprise maybe to tell us you're coming back to parish government?
No,
We can say that for
sorry.
the next meeting.
But
Don't say
I'll
no
be
yet.
more than happy, anytime you want me to come back and update you, I'll be more than happy to do that. So
And we appreciate that, Ms. Gary.
you're
Thank
very
you for
welcome.
being here. Thank you for
and
what
you guys
do.
have a great Thanksgiving and Christmas if
Same
I don't
to you.
see y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah.
Bye, thanks.
Madam Clerk, moving on to item B.
Ms. Marcella Manuel to address the council about feedback regarding proposed budgets and operations at the Iberia Parish Rabies and Animal Control Facility.
Ms. Manuel, if you can step up to the mic and state your name and address for the record, ma'am. Welcome.
Sorry. Marcella Manuel, 14514 Highway 92, Maurice, Louisiana.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have some handouts for each of you. Two handouts. A packet that was originally sent via email. We discovered a virus had been sent to one of the attachments, so we made some hard copies for you. May we pass those out real quick?
Certainly. Do you have enough for legal and the parish president?
I do.
Good. If you can freeze the time, Madam Clerk, or maybe restart the time to 3 minutes. At this time, while we're waiting on that, is there anyone from the general public that's not filled out a comment record for items to discuss on the agenda tonight? Please do that now and get it to us while we wait. Thank you, Ms. Bree. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. President. That's okay. We got you, Ms. Darling. Thank you. Doing a fine job, Mr. Broussard.
We just need one. He's giving me. Gave one to you, Jean.
Mr. Broussard, if you can get Mr. Olivier one, did you get him?
Yeah, he's got it.
And I do have extra copies for the members that are not here that, I can
Sure.
leave with you guys. I have one similar.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, if you're ready to start. Ms. Manuel, we're ready when you are.
Thank you, and thank you for meeting with us again. I am here as a representative of concerned citizens for the Iberia Parish Animal Control. We've met before, and we've expressed some of our concerns. And as we left the October 27th meeting, after we thought was a good, productive meeting, we would learn that 7 animals, 7 dogs, had been killed just that day, with empty kennels still available. 2 of those dogs were considered to be aggressive, and you should know that you do not have a definition of aggressive in your ordinances. I've asked for a policies and procedures manual, operations manual from the shelter 5 different ways. I have not received one to date. There are many definitions for aggressive, but typically it goes by something similar to 3 vicious, aggressive attacks / bites. I don't know what definition was used, but 2 of those dogs were supposedly killed for that reason. We asked what was the reason for the other dogs. We have spoken internal and external. We have received information galore. Volunteers who worked with those dogs, the employees who worked with those dogs, were not having trouble with those 5 dogs. They took them to the park. They played with them. They were obedient. They were friendly. They were affectionate. And we were not out of space. One of the dogs didn't get along well with other dogs. Well, guess what? What's new? Those of us in rescue, we see this all the time. That does not mean a dog is not adoptable. It means we find a home for that dog where they can either, it's a calm setting, or they don't have other dogs, or, rehab. There are so many things that make a difference in a dog's life, and it starts from the moment AOCs respond to a call to go pick up a stray. How they handle that dog makes a difference. How well they're trained makes a difference. How they're received once they get to the shelter makes a difference. The amount of time they get to get out of their kennel and play and run and get some exercise and some of that energy and that anxiety out makes a difference. You guys still don't have adequate fencing, so there's no such thing as letting them run free. You could easily raise that. You could easily enclose it. You don't have a quarantine room. And right now, you might be looking at a serious contagion problem. For example, when you pick up a dog or somebody at random brings one in, they need to be observed. They really need to go into quarantine for a couple of days to start off with, because you don't know what they're carrying. It might not be contagious, it might be. If it is, you're in trouble.
Ms. Darlene, I hate to cut you off, I apologize. The rule calls for 3 minutes. I do have why does the gentleman seek recognition?
Well, I like to, I mean, this is important. I think most of these people here
Okay.
are,
Is the gentleman requesting more time from us?
I would like to just, I don't know how long your presentation is, but I think it's important for us to make the right determination as far as for what the council does, as far as for the budget for this facility. I think we need to learn as much as we can.
Just for the record of the rules, the reason I stepped in is that there's a 3-minute rule. The gentleman has offered on the floor to give additional time. At this point in time, is there any objection to that? Hearing no objection, Ms. Darlene, you're recognized for further time. I'm sorry, Ms. Manu, you're recognized for further time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome to call me anything you want.
I appreciate that.
At this point, I've got a few names flying too. So here's the deal. You have internal problems and you have external problems. All of the 4 employees, including the interim director, I guess that makes 5, need training. The right hand does not know what the left hand's doing. You do not have procedures in place. People that are working there are so confused. They don't know who's supposed to spay and neuter when. Rescues, for example. Rescues typically take care of that themselves because they have their own preference on what veterinarians they use for good reasons. So these things need to be in place or you're not going to have a functioning facility. You've got to have these folks under supervision. You cannot have rescues that you hardly know, that don't have an application on file, pull dogs, and even if you do know them, rescues are not allowed to return dogs. That's a problem. And nobody should be bringing dogs into your facility but your control officers and surrenders. That's it. Otherwise, you have no control. So when we talk about budget, I'm here to tell you there is no $100,000 surplus. Half of what should have been spent. Now, okay, let's look at how many intakes there supposedly are. We've got more than one story on that. One last week I heard 759. This week I'm hearing 900 to 1,000. We've spent half. If those numbers are correct, then that is similar to 2020. Why was only half of the medical expenses or monies allowed for that spent? Why was there 50% less spent on supplies? Was it farm? Was it feed? What is farm supplies? We're not talking about goats and chickens here. We're talking about dogs, cats, mainly. If they spent half of what they needed to spend on good food, then why? That's not a surplus. That's a deficit. If you're talking about we have money left over because we didn't refill those positions and you only have 4 employees left on site, that's not a surplus. That's a bad, bad accident waiting for some liability lawsuits. We're not just talking about taking care of animals, we're talking about taking care of the community. What you're going to see in those packets there is we studied the proposals that were submitted to you by Mr. Jones. We studied your ordinances. We studied the city codes. We countered, we critiqued, and then we submitted our own. In the papers that you've received that are stapled together, the first thing you're going to see are the 5 dogs that were killed. The next page is going to be about another dog that tears me up, and it's hard to even mention. The dog was tortured. You'll see that in the picture. 2 rescues were on their way to get that dog when Mr. Jones ordered, with that knowledge, to go ahead and kill it. We've pulled dogs in worse condition than this.
Hold on. What did you just say? Say that again? That
Yes.
somebody was going to pick up those?
2 separate rescues wanted that dog, had started raising funds for medical treatment. One rescue, pit bulls and parolees, they have the funds. Animal control had started raising money for that dog. What did they do with it? Because if you kill the dog, the minute somebody tells you, whoa, 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 we have rescues for this dog, he was still standing up, so he was still treatable for sure.
Okay.
They're on their way to pick up this dog, and they are ordered to put the dog to sleep and get the filthy picture off the web. That dog did not deserve that. Tortured needlessly by cruel and irresponsible people, and then what do? We go ahead and make sure he doesn't have a chance at a life. We kill him. So that's in one of your pages. In some of those other pages, you're going to see where we've watched dogs go in there looking halfway healthy, and then within a matter of months, they're skin and bones, no hair, blah, blah, blah. There's dogs that have died there. We have no accounting of why. All of a sudden. And then in the last 4 pages, you're going to see what normally happens in reality between animal control facilities and rescues. Socialization starts with the person that picks that dog up. The minute it gets into animal control, it is loved by, typically speaking, people that work there that actually care about those animals. Rescue gets involved. Rescue handles transport. Rescue handles a lot of the treatment, lining up fosters that fit certain dogs. Now, let me tell you something. No one rescue is set up to only take all your pit bulls. So some of these rescues that will only pull little tiny dogs, that's fine. They can pull a few. But if we're going to get other cooperating rescues in-state and out-of-state to work with us, we can't demand that they all have fosters that can handle big, strong dogs. So there has to be a balance there. There can't be, favoritism and all that kind of baloney. You've got breed-specific rescues. They're very valuable. Some are specific to labs. Their fosters are very informed. Their vets are very familiar. And so they save a lot of labs. We get a lot of labs dumped. We get a lot of beagles dumped. Any kind of hunting dog that you think the owner would value, forget it. The breeding, and this is not going to stop. The problems that we're having that you see today and why we have to have literally thousands of people trying to save these lives is because there are no breeding restrictions, not even at the parish level. We don't have to wait for the state to do it. It's not rocket science. There needs to be some restrictions. You and I both know a lot of these pit bull breeders are doing it for the purpose of fighting, and they'll be more than happy to steal your dog and use it for bait. They'll be more than happy to dump that mama with cancerous tumors, mammary tumors, her uterus falling out, after they've bred her so many times that she can't produce viable puppies anymore. That's what we get. And these things are not going to stop until you guys are ready to put some breeding restrictions in place. We're happy to work with you on this. We're happy to develop a commission. We would like a full-time shelter manager to serve on that commission with us. We do not need an interim director, and we sure don't need to throw away $16,000. I don't, you know, I tried my best to come here and I do respect you, and I don't want to disrespect you. But when I tell you, people have been nauseated, they have not slept. We spend 24/7 trying to save these dogs. And when an animal control facility works with us like they should, it happens. Are there alternatives? Do you have to say this dog must leave the shelter within 30 days, 60 days? No, you don't, because there's alternatives. You'd be surprised how your community reacts when they call and they say, we've got these dogs hanging out, blah, 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 where they need to be picked up. Ma'am, we are completely filled right now. We do expect to have some dogs pulled soon. I'm writing your name and number down now. We will call you just as soon as we have a vacancy. Also, animal control has the right to develop their own fosters. You can reach out to your community and screen these people. Fosters have to be screened. Rescues have to be screened. You don't want to put a dog into just anywhere, or you're going to end up right back with them or dead. So there's a lot that your animal control facility can do to raise funds, to take care of these animals, and work with rescues. Let's make it happen. Can we make it happen? We don't need to go back. You know, I was here working in Iberia 30 years ago. It's been a long time. How many times does this have to be revisited? Come on, please. Tell me what you need from us. We will work with you. If you want to take this monkey off your back, let us develop a commission. That shelter manager can be a part of that commission. The commission can report to you. You want it quarterly, you'll get it quarterly. You need to be accounting for medications on those premises, money taken in on those premises. Those kennels, you do not leave a dog running on wet concrete. Pads start peeling off, disease sets in, they go outside in infected dirt and grass. Here you go. You might have wormed when they first walked through the door once. Now they got hookworms again, or coccidia. There's methods that need to be in place. That's all I'm saying. Let us help you. Let us provide you with the information you need. Let us help you find the funds. Shelter manager, one of the best in the state, wanted this position. Stacy Alamo. She got St. Landry Parish going like you wouldn't believe, and she left it in great shape. She has taken a lot of her lead and her information from other much more successful, New Orleans, Mandeville, etc. I have combed numerous. It can be done, but you've got to have somebody on top of it. I don't know why. Okay, we're not talking about animal abatement here. We're not talking about mosquitoes. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Why can't we pay a reasonable shelter manager and offer some travel, but we can give a car and fuel and a huge state-of-the-art building to mosquito control, whose most of the employees, I think, are driving mosquito trucks around. Don't need to be in a 4,000 square foot or whatever it is, I don't know. I understand they may have different funding. Fine. Let's look for some different funding. Let's look for some millage. Let's look for anything. This has to stop being an open wound. And I'm happy to answer any questions or comments. You know, if you want to scream at me,
Members,
that's fine
are there any
too.
comments or questions for Ms. Manuel? I believe Councilman Pollard is recognized.
I understand your cry about this and everybody in here. We can't get people to work at McDonald's and Burger King. We don't have the fund to hire and somebody to run this shelter. Any applications has came in, you know, I mean, Y'all raising up your hand, but y'all fill out applications? You know, I mean, I don't know if we run in, you know, a rabies shelter or just an adoption shelter. And trust me, I have 8 dogs myself. I run beagles in competition. But my thing is just that, you know, all these dogs that you see on the street, if we would go around and capture all these dogs, where are we gonna put them? We can't get the employees to go to, we can't get the employees to work at a fast food restaurant. I mean, I just don't see. I know they get applications here, but I mean, are they willing to accept the pay that they have to offer? You know, people back there shaking their head, yes. Why you ain't call back and say? I mean, if I had a job or looking for a job, my thing is, I'm going for that job.
I do every day.
You know?
Mr. Richard, I had an interview yesterday.
We're going to remain in regular order, please. Just respect the process.
No, so,
The gentleman has the floor. Ms. Manuel, was that
Sure.
a question for Ms. Manuel?
It's a good question, because everybody's having trouble hiring right now. You know, seems like a lot of people have gotten lazy. You're talking about thousands of people across this state that are passionate about this issue. They don't get paid 1/3 of what they should get paid, and they still do the job 24/7. So I think if you guys reach out, put the advertisement out there, we will help you. We'll put the advertisement out there. We'll find you some hardworking people. But you've got to have a shelter manager that stays on top of them, because they're human. If they think they have an opportunity to sit around and do nothing, they might. But you
Councilman
bring up a
Pollard,
good
Are
point.
you finished, sir?
I reserve.
Councilman Pollard goes back. Councilman Napier is recognized.
So, Ms. Manuel, again, and I know you had called for me, and I hadn't returned your call. I was out of town last week, but listen, don't think, again, that it's falling on deaf ears here with some of us. I promise you. The budget process is in the works. We hear and see, and this is disgusting to me personally. I said that 2 weeks ago, and seeing it's even worse. Why that was going on? Look, that's an administration thing. What's going on over there? That wasn't something that we picked, but we're gonna do our best working with the administration. I hope, at least for me, that we fix if that's going on over there, like you say, and believe me, we haven't just left 2 weeks ago and picking it up here. It has been talked, and we have received all of y'all emails. Believe me, every one of us has gotten them, and we have read them. Now, how we respond, we'll see. But believe me, if I have anything to do with it, some things are going to get done. Hopefully, it fixes the problem. But there is, look, everything takes money. It does. Tommy has a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the cruelty, there's no excuse for that. And me, for one, and I'm sure there's several others that sit on this council that's not going to put up with that. And we're going to do what we can legally from a council point. But the day-to-day operations rely on Mr. Richard and administration. But thank y'all all for coming. I appreciate it, because until 2 weeks ago, I didn't know anything of that was going on. We don't get those reports.
Right.
And I'm very taken back by that, and disappointed that went on in a parish-run facility, if that's the case. So thank y'all all again for me, that y'all came, and believe me, there's some things being talked about, and hopefully it'll be done to y'all's satisfaction.
May I respond quickly?
Please.
There are ways that you can raise money. For starters, you need to have a good relationship with law enforcement and make sure that they are following suit and investigating those cruelty. I don't know if they're investigating and pursuing prosecution and collecting those fees and charges or not. It's not in the ordinances how long you'll hold a dog that's under, cruelty investigation. So there's ways that it could already be making money that would help. And I do believe you. When I left here on the 27th, I knew that I was looking at people that were not cold-hearted people. So please, let's work it. If you would, just, even if it takes voting on whether or not to have a commission, let's get started. We're ready. Let's get it.
Thank you.
Councilman Napier, are you done?
Yes. thank you,
Councilman
Mr.
Napier,
Chairman.
yours back. I believe the parish president. No, fine. Okay, anyone else on comments for Ms. Manuel? Hearing none, Ms. Manuel, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Moving on to number 2, Madam Clerk.
Comments from the general public on agenda items. Persons being considered for appointment to parish boards, commissions to address the council.
I don't believe we have any agenda item comments filled out for full council, so we'll go straight to boards and commissions. We do have Ms. Darlene French to represent the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board. Ms. French, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank everyone for agreeing. I'm going to hopefully say that you'll agree and vote on this. I have been on the Youth Planning Board for a number of years now, representing the Iberia Parish School Board. Now I would like to try to represent the community. For those of you that know me, and quite a few do, I've been in education for 43 years. So to say that youth is not my priority would really be a joke. And I'd like to continue offering help and assistance to the youth of Iberia Parish as well as St. Martin and St. Mary, because it is the 16th Judicial. So I would like to tell you that you'll have my full cooperation in working with that Youth and Planning Board and making sure that we do everything we can for the youth of the 16th Judicial. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Ms. French? Hearing none. Ms. French, thank you for stepping up and willing to serve your community.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on, Ms. Brianna Davis, also to be reappointed to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board. Welcome, Ms. Davis.
Hi, my name is Brianna Davis, and I am asking to be considered for the 16th Judicial Children and Family Planning Board. I'm currently the unit director at Boys and Girls Club. I've been there since 2019, and I spend my days directing and leading young professionals into helping youth become caring, productive, and responsible citizens. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I like to use my knowledge in order to help our parish identify and understand the issues that we have and come to those resolutions. Some of the ways that we are currently doing that is focusing on social and emotional wellness. That's through sports and wellness check-ins. Another way is workforce preparation. That's through STEM programming and job exploration. Being on this planning committee, it would allow me to expand the work that I'm currently doing and continue to help the parish that I love. Thank you.
Good. Are there any questions for Ms. Davis? Members? Hearing none. Ms. Davis, thank you for stepping up to serve your community. Is Ms. Jennifer Dewitt here tonight, also applying for the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board? Ms. Jennifer? Moving on to the Iberia Parish Communications District, Ms. Cassie Duhon.
Hi, good evening. I'm Lieutenant Duyon with the New Iberia Police Department. I have been serving with them since the start of the police department. I'm currently one of 2 supervisors over their communications division, and they have appointed me to the 911 Communications Board, and I look forward to working with them. Hopefully working out some of the kinks that we have between our communications to operate smoothly for our community.
Good. Are there any questions for Ms. Duhon, members? Hearing none. Thank you for stepping up, Ms. Duhon. Appreciate it. Moving on to Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission, Mr. Daniel Abear.
Thank y'all. I know a few of y'all here, but my name is Daniel Abear. I live in St. Martin Parish, just across the parish line, and my main reason for applying this is because I'm very much involved with the 4-H kids and to show for the livestock shows, and that is one of the more important parts of the sugar into being used regularly. My kids show there. My kids go to school. My kids and grandkids go to school in Iberia Parish at Acadiana Christian School, and we've been showing. I've been showing livestock. My kids have been since 1993, so it's been a while. And my position would be I'm on the Iberia Parish 4-H board also, with the livestock board. and I'd like to, I've been asked to, represent them on the Acadiana Fairground Commission. So anybody have any questions for me?
Members, any questions for Mr. Abear?
I work for Tesh Farm Supply out of Generette, and I know many of the farmers in Iberia Parish, and I used to do business with John when he was a farmer, and he's a competitor of mine now. So we still shake hands and smile at each other when we see each
Friendly
other.
fire. Thank you, Mr. Abear.
All right,
We
thank you.
Appreciate you stepping up. Also, Mr. Andrew Dumasil for Acadiana Fairgrounds.
Good evening. I'm Andrew Dumasil. I'm applying for the commissioner. For the past year, I've been doing volunteer work at the Sugar Arena, helping out as much as I can. I'm employed at Carbo Ceramics. I'm a maintenance supervisor over there. And if y'all have any questions, just
Are there any questions for Mr. Dumasil, members? Hearing none. Thank you for stepping up, Mr. Dumasil. Appreciate it. I'll need a motion to go back into regular order. I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, a second by Councilman Napier. Is there any discussion, members? Hearing none. Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to reports from finance and administrative actions. There are none. Moving on to reports from parish or other governmental agencies. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Monthly building report for the month of October 2021 was emailed to the council members.
Moving on to Public Works report, there is none. Moving on to special business, there is none. Moving on to council member announcements. Councilman Michael Landry is recognized.
Yes, I actually already forgot to do this tonight. We got a proclamation. There are many organizations committed to sheltering and providing supportive services as well as meals and food supplies to anyone experiencing homelessness in Iberia Parish. The National Coalition for the Homeless and National Student Campaign Against Hunger and Homelessness has sponsored National Homelessness Awareness Week. And whereas Iberia Homeless Shelter recognizes that hunger and homelessness continues to be a serious problem for many of our individuals and families in Iberia Parish, and whereas it is our wish to educate the public about the many reasons people go hungry and are homeless, including shortages of affordable housing in Iberia Parish for very low-income residents, and to encourage support and assistance to all agencies and providers. Whereas the theme of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is consistent with the activities of Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homeless. Whereas the National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week 2021 is Hunger and Homelessness Awareness. Now therefore, M. Larry Richard, President of Iberia Parish, do proclaim November 13th to 21, 2021 as National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. In witness therefore whereof, I set my hands to the seal of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, to be affixed on this 10th day of November as in the year of our Lord 2021. M. Larry Richard. We have our chairman of the Homeless Board, James Russell. I'm also on this board, so we doing wonders. Wait one.
Thank you, Mr. Russell, for everything you did. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Councilman Landry, you finished?
Yes.
Councilman Landry yields back. Anyone else? Councilman Rawson is recognized.
I'd like to recognize
the Volunteer Fire Department. They did their assessment basically, and it's tied to your possibly your insurance rates going down, and they were able to go from a 4 to a 3. The rating class is a 1 to a 10, and it takes a lot of hours, and you know it's just a volunteer fire department. They basically go on money donated to them. It's a lot of data-driven spreadsheets and whatnot as far as your fires, your training records. And when they, back up 2 years ago, the records were not up to speed, so to speak. And Mr. Berard, the chairman, stepped in, the leader there, and he got the guys on board. And I see a lot of good things out of that group right there. To go from a 4 to 3 is a big thing. There's only 2 volunteer fire departments in the state of Louisiana that have a 2 rating. They're in, I'll call it rich neighborhoods. They're given a lot of money. So, they just don't have the resources yet to pull that off. It's going to take some funds. It's going to take, I'll go ahead and say, the rich people of the community to step up. But great job by them to get it down from a 4 to a 3. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Rossney yields back. Councilman Pollitt's recognized.
Yes. I'd like to thank a couple of city councilmen for the Christmas lights that they had put up. It was the Hopkins Street Economic Development Fund. With their funds, Marlon Lewis, Dee Dee Johnson, they was able to get those lights and pay for it out of that fund, and also thanking Clico for putting the lights up, certain for taking care of that with the city.
Good. Thank you. Councilman Pollitt yields back. Anyone else? Councilman Paul Landry's recognized.
Yeah, this weekend at the Sugar Arena, the 12th to the 14th, they're going to have a Louisiana Sugar Classic. It's an ABBA approved Rama show. It's supposed to be between 500 and 600 cattle there. So, they're asking that the council members go, they're looking for new events out there. So this should be a pretty good show. You'll want to look at some of the, pass it around. So, I think it'd be good for us all to stop in and see maybe some other events that that they could do out there.
Councilman Paul Landry yields back. Anyone else, members? Hearing no other comments. I just want to say tonight I'm wearing a pendant, or a little sticker, as I say the pendant was too small, just to represent our Louisiana Senate District 22 during the redistricting process. As you know, backdoor politics is trying to dilute our seat at the table, and we've had a senator who's brought a lot to this table for us. It's unfortunate we can't keep him forever, but I just want to say, please be out there and make those phone calls to the Acadiana delegation. I know Representative Boyer Miguez very, very much working hard to keep that Senate district together, and Iberia Parish at the table.
So, are you going to run for that seat?
No. This is just want to keep my seat together, man, so we can continue to get good capital outlay.
I'm just checking.
Moving on here, no other council member announcements. Moving on to Parish President announcements. Parish President Reshort.
I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Tomorrow, Thursday, if you can, all of you that can, please join me and Mayor Freddie Court at Bologna Plaza for Veterans Day ceremony. It's going to take place at 2 o'clock. Any of you that can join, please join. It's going to be a big day for us. Also on Friday, for those of you who may know that, I guess we started having veterans meeting here at the courthouse probably some 4.5 years ago. We had to stop due to COVID. So we're kicking it back off again this coming Friday, and that's going to be on the 4th floor here at 2 o'clock on Friday. So all of the veterans that's around, we have already contacted them personally by phone for them to come here on Friday. Remember to go out and vote this coming, November the 13th. That's a big deal for us. I want to talk a little bit about animal control. We did offer a position to someone for a full-time shelter manager's position. In fact, I spoke to council chairman, made him aware of what we was doing. He's totally aware of what we're doing. And I want to tell you, Ms. Manuel, whoever was speaking just now, she really had some very, 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 very good points that she was talking about. And one thing I can say, and I'm sure a lot of councilmen feel the same way, there are certain things, there's a lot of things that we would like to do different than we're doing, but we're doing what we can do at this particular time. So we did offer a position to a shelter manager. That person accepted, and we're waiting for that process to take place. And as far as budget, you will have some additional things in the budget that I'm going to be requesting from Parish Council. Another thing I want to pass on is the mayor, and I have already spoke about the facility and have been speaking about the facility. So we have some additional funds that you're going to see that's going to be coming from the city to do additional things at that shelter. So listen, I think it's going to be I think it's going to work out, and that's about it for the animal control facility right now. A little bit about Public Works, and then I'm going to stop because we're moving along, and I have another engagement that I have to do after this. The chairman is aware of that, so we're going to try to get to committee right quick like. But dealing with Public Works, for the last couple of weeks, we've, of course, been cleaning culverts in District 5, 9, 10, and 13. We did some culvert inspection work in District 6 and 9. Debris pickup in District 3, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 14. We did roadside drainage work in District 9, 10, and 14. Grading work was done, grading road work was done in District 10, 11, 13, and 14. Road patching work has been done in District 5, 6, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. Field ditch side booming work was done in District 7 and District 10, and signage work almost in every district in the parish. We have a lot of work going on in Public Works. Of course, you guys may know that we are definitely doing, for the first time, I think I can say, since I've been here, serious interviews for positions within Iberia Parish government, which is a very, very good thing because we haven't really been doing a lot of interviewing to hire a lot of people like we have been doing lately. And I think that's a good thing in various departments, not just animal control. I'm talking Public Works, the whole 9 yards. So it's getting much better as far as that goes in Iberia Parish, and hopefully it continue to. And that's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir.
Are there any questions for the parish president? I do believe there is. Councilman Napier on recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Richard, just I had a call the other day, and I'd kind of been out of sight, out of mind. But
You've been working. I get it.
Oh, huh?
You've been working. I get it.
Absolutely, yeah. So in my neighborhood over there with the property that we had funded, taking that house out.
We're still in the process.
On Louise, I mean, was any
Well,
update on where we at? Or
Yeah, that's,
Louise.
you're talking about the house that actually burned down?
Right.
Yeah, that would probably a better be, update to come from Reed, if you don't mind, because
Okay,
this
no,
is a
I'll
lot
talk
of
to
legal
him.
stuff that's going
So-
on here.
Yeah, what do
Yeah, there's a lot of legal stuff going on, but when you pass the budget, you passed it for me to use the money in 2022, not 2021. I don't know if you realize that.
No, I realize, but so the process.
Oh, the
can't-
process is moving along. big
That's
time.
that's all I
Oh,
wanted to know,
absolutely.
where we were at when the process.
Oh, no, we're moving along fine. We can't do anything until we get the money in
Correct.
in January.
No,
but
I
we're
got
moving
you on
along in
that,
the
yeah.
process.
But as far as for all the legal work and the paperwork or whatever has to be done, that's
It's a lot of
that's in
legal
the
work to
motion.
do when you're taking someone home to demolish the
Oh,
person.
yeah,
So
yeah,
all of
absolutely.
that's going through.
You'll be able to get with Mr. Boudreaux?
I'll actually, thank you.
I think that's better for you to go offline because there's a lot.
No,
of
I'm
stuff.
good. I just had a call and it brought it back to my attention, so I.
We're moving forward on it.
Okay,
Councilman
thank
Napier
you.
yields back. Is there any other questions for the parish president members? Hearing none.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on to summary number 192 without objection, members, to bring in, I believe the hospital is here, and maybe a doctor to represent the hospital with Ms. Dion. Madam Clerk, if you can read number 192 for the record, please. 191, I apologize. No, 192, I'm right. Just worried about that demo. 192, Madam Clerk.
The last resolution. A resolution accepting the budget of Hospital Service District Number 1 of Iberia Parish for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, all as recommended by the Iberia Parish Hospital Service District Number 1 Board of Commissioners, providing for the effective date thereof and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Lloyd Brown. Councilman Landry? Councilman Landry waves. Councilman Brown? Councilman Brown waves. Ms. Dion, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here this evening. I'm Dion Viator, the CEO of Iberia Medical Center, here with Dr. Carlo Alfonso, who will speak in just a minute, and Amy Longlanay, who is the Vice President of Finance for Iberia Medical Center. I do have some slides to go through. I don't know if
Yes, you do.
those have been activated.
It's unfortunate we don't have the big screen for you tonight.
It did earlier.
Is there someone?
Maybe. Did you click your button?
I have the clicker.
It's coming. Might still be asleep.
It didn't turn over, did it? It still has the time.
No, but it did. It's just not showing
Oh,
the
okay.
screen. It's the larger. I think they went to sleep.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Thank you. Yes, I have the clicker here. Really just, thank you for your time tonight to be able to talk a little bit about our 2022 budget and also some of our accomplishments that we've had in 2021. I start with the Board of Commissioners of Iberia Medical Center that you have appointed. We do have two members of our medical staff, two members of our Board of Commissioners that are appointed by our medical staff as well. I bring this up tonight because Dr. Kurt O'Brien, his term ends on December 27th. We have enjoyed his participation on the board. The medical staff has elected Dr. Carlo Alfonso to take his place, so he wanted to come tonight and introduce himself. Dr. Alfonso?
Hi, I'm Carlo Alfonso. I've been a resident of Iberia Parish for the last 5 years now. Previously born and bred in Morgan City, Louisiana. Graduated from Nicholls State University, went on to LSU in New Orleans for medical school. After medical school, I joined the United States Army. Was in active duty for 12 years, where I obtained my residency in anesthesia. Then went on to be the chief of anesthesia at the IMC Burn Center and Surgical Research Division in San Antonio. After my military tenure, I wanted to get back home, get back to my family, and decided to settle here in New Iberia. I've been here for 5 years. I'm the chief of anesthesia here at Iberia Medical Center. I sit on the medical executive committee. I am the vice chief of staff at IMC and look forward to being on the Board of Commissioners to try and better serve the hospital as well as the community, which we love serving as well. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Alfonso. We look forward to working with him in this new role. Of course, we work with him on a daily basis and wearing his other hat, but that would be nice. So to move on with the update of 2021, last time I was here, I reported about COVID. We were active in serving the community and caring for the patients with COVID. This slide is very busy, but what I wanted to show you with this slide is this begins at April of 2021 on the far left-hand side and trends the number of patients we had in-house at Iberia Medical Center, inpatients, all the way through yesterday. So what you can see is during this time frame, we've had 2 days in the entire 18 months or so with 0 COVID inpatients in the house. You can see how about 60 days ago, we peaked at almost 54 patients in-house. That was barely sustainable for us for that period of time, but we saw it come back down, and today we have 1 COVID patient in-house. So doing very well with that and moving forward. I want to just mention that as we have been serving the community with the needs for COVID, we feel like we've been, taken care of by the community as well. We have had so many people through this group and through other groups in the community serve meals and do so many things that have really made our staff feel appreciated, and just want to thank you one more time for that. Talk a little bit about the past year is that we focus on emergency planning and preparedness. Every year we work very closely with the parish. We've had the polar vortex and Hurricane Ida this year, working hand in hand with the parish in preparedness. But it's not just during this event that we get together. We also work in a joint effort coordinated by Ms. Natalie Broussard, the CERT training that was done this past year. We were able to go and provide some of the healthcare training in first aid basics for the CERT volunteers. We also have been working for a healthy workforce in Iberia Parish. We have created a division or an arm of the hospital that is called HealthWorks. What we do is we try to go out to the employers. We bring a lot of our physicians volunteer to do this with us, our cardiologist, family practice. We've gone out to do service to a lot of the employers in the parish to teach them, employee injury prevention to minimize lost work time and wages. We've spent a significant amount of time at the Iberia Parish School System, M.A. Patu, Sugar Mill, Metal Shark, Masan and St. Mary Sugar Co-op. We've given over 1,600 COVID vaccines at these employers, and this flu season already given over 500 flu shots. In 2021, one of the most significant things we've been working on has also been emergency room patient satisfaction. Many of you in this room in the past have gotten comments from emergency room patients that you've graciously called me about and let me follow up on for you. But we've been working on that. What this slide is, it's going back to 2016 and moves forward to fiscal year 2022. And this is a patient satisfaction percentile. So we put our patient satisfaction score, which is the exact same questions that other hospitals across the nation ask, and we compare where we are as a benchmark to other hospitals of our size around the nation. So you can see that in fiscal year 19, we were at the 22nd percentile. That means we were ranked in the 22nd out of 100. We improved that in 1920, fiscal year 20, to 42nd percentile. We ended our fiscal year 21 at the 69th percentile, which we're very proud of because that was through COVID. That was when our emergency room was beyond capacity at times. And I also put on here, because I'm proud of this too, October of 2022, we were at the 91st percentile. That is 1 month of the fiscal year. It is not, more than 1 month, but we still celebrate that. So we are working to improve our patient satisfaction in the emergency room and throughout the hospital, but the emergency room is our front door. So we will continue to focus on that. We also, in 2021, did a lot of facility upgrades, a lot of new equipment, and some things to focus on our growth. We completed the roof replacement. We've done a lot with replacing our cooling towers. We've added quite a few negative pressure rooms, which the negative pressure addition was done with a lot of the CARES Act funding that we were able to receive. And what that does is it takes the airflow of a hospital for a patient who has a contagious disease like COVID and moves the airflow from recirculating back in the building, seals it off, and moves it out of the building so that we keep everybody in the building safe and unaffected by that. We have purchased a lot of ventilators and respiratory equipment, new patient beds, new lab analyzers to do a lot of the new testing that we are being asked to do as a hospital, new portable x-rays, and then I think I've reported here before as growth opportunities, the Mako surgical robot that we've purchased. I don't think I've been here since we've added the 3D mammography, which is state-of-the-art mammography technology for prevention and detection of cancer, and then the expansion of the North Campus emergency room construction that is still ongoing. As a part of our strategy in 2021, and I do again commend our board, even with COVID and everything else going on, we did go through a strategic planning process timely to renew our 3-year strategic plan and move that forward. That process approved our recruitment of the physicians that you see here. Dr. Madigat, who is an oncologist who just started, medical oncologist, who has just started a couple of months ago. He's here to join Dr. Constantino and help us increase the ability to have cancer services here in our community. Next is Dr. Tyler Abair. Dr. Abair is a family medicine physician joining Dr. Jose Mata's group, and Dr. Charlie Moore is an ENT joining Dr. Sorrell. Both of those are born and raised right here and coming back to serve their community. Also, Dr. Damian Delhomme, he's an OB/GYN recruited and has worked with us over the course of this past year. He is from the Lafayette, Broussard area. Delhomme Funeral Home is his family's business. Came back to work here locally and doing a great job working with us there. Dr. Rastogi is a cardiologist that has come and joined our medical staff and recruited. And then we have a general surgeon, Danielle Cobb, who has also local, come back home, wanted rural tracts medicine, and is doing a great job in our general surgery. So with those physicians and the recruitment, we've been able to achieve some of our strategic initiatives. With the orthopedic surgery, last week with the staff, we celebrated the 200th Mako robot knee and hip replacement already. So 200 cases successfully done on the Mako robot. Cardiology, when we look at our fiscal year 20 to our fiscal year 21, with the addition of Dr. Rastogi, we had an 18% increase in our cardiology volume there. And cancer services, the recruitment of a medical oncologist. We've hired a dedicated service line director to work with our cancer service line, and you'll be hearing more about that. The reason we hired a dedicated cancer service line director is cancer services in a hospital are sometimes disjointed. A patient may be in a physician's office and get a diagnosis. They may need lab procedures, they may need radiology, they may need surgery, they may need a lot of different surgeries. And right now we operate those in departments that may not do the right handoffs between all of that. So a patient navigation where the patient is the focus through all of the services that they need over the course of their treatment. We also have the North Campus expansion. I talked a little bit about this. We are completing the construction now for the North Campus emergency room. We have requested, the fire marshal will be there for a survey on Friday. We have Louisiana Department of Health coming a few weeks after that. So we are anticipating a December opening of the emergency services at the North Campus. The emergency services there are going to be a little different than what we can do at the main campus in the beginning as we continue to move forward with developing the North Campus out to its full potential. The North Campus emergency room will have a 24-hour physician there. We'll have nursing staff there, of course. We're going to have 24/7 laboratory services, radiology services, respiratory therapy services. So we'll have quite a complement of services there 24 hours a day. What we will not have is we don't have a cath lab there. So for a heart attack, we won't be able to just roll you in and be able to take care of those cardiac events. So we are educating and working with Acadian Ambulance on not bringing those type of patients to that emergency room. And we are also working with the police and sheriff's department about the patients that are needed for PECs and psych patients to continue to go to the main campus. So we're looking forward to all the services that we have and the being able to continue to serve the community at the North Campus. Do you have any questions about the North Campus, ED?
I believe Councilman Trone.
On the main campus, are we still at one cath lab?
We are still at one cath lab at the main campus. We've looked at that even over the course of the last few weeks, and we still think that one cath lab completely handles our volume at this point in time. However, we do have in our budget for fiscal year 22 or early 23 to replace that one cath lab with a new state-of-the-art cath lab, not to get a second, but replace the current one that we have. And then as volume dictates, we'll get a second. We do have a place for the second to be housed.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You take out COVID, obviously we have the data. And based on historical data, how are we trending on inpatient or admittance, I guess you'd say? Are we trending still?
Significantly down. Significantly down. Yes, we are feeling what everybody in the community is feeling right now is quite a bit of relief from COVID. I think it's multiple things. I think that we've got more people vaccinated. I think we've gotten better treatments with a lot of the monoclonal infusion and more access to things like that. So we're doing much better.
But that's counting COVID. When you pull COVID out, how are we trending?
When you pull COVID out, how is the hospital trending?
Yes, based on historical data.
Okay, I want to make sure the question is, how is our inpatient census? Yeah. We are doing very well. We do have available beds in both the medical and the surgical, but we are back to our pre-COVID level of patients.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Fortunately or unfortunately? I don't know.
There's no other questions.
Okay. So going into the reason we're here, the fiscal year 22 budget, you should all have the budget packet in front of you. I'll talk about it at a much higher level here. When you look at the budget you hear, I have put up here actual September 30th, 2021 numbers to show you overall the profitability there. The profitability for what you can see in that 2021 line is you can see in total non-operating revenue over $5 million up on the slide here. That is CARES Act funding of $5 million that was in that, that number. So what you see on the bottom line is a profit of $3.6 million. Half of that CARES Act funding was spent on salaries and wages and on supplies. The other half of the CARES Act funding was spent on capital equipment and construction for negative pressure. That $2.5 million that was spent on capital equipment and construction, because we got the grant revenue in, but the asset gets capitalized and depreciated over a longer period of time, falls right down to our bottom line. So when you look at normal operations for 2021, the hospital operations had a profit of $1.1 million, was where that all kind of netted back out and normalized. So as we looked for our 2022 budget, we looked at a couple of things, and the budget is a little bit less than that 1.1 that we had this year. The reason for that is we have experienced continuing and ongoing increases, especially in our nursing labor cost and supply cost. So between pharmaceutical cost and PPE and other supplies are things that are hitting us hard as we roll into next year. So the bottom line for fiscal year 22 budget is $617,609. The components of that, if we look at this, we move to a revenue from $111 million to $120 million between 2021 and 2022. There's three things that make the majority of that difference up: the North Emergency Room, the Cancer Services, and Cardiology. So again, where we've invested in physician recruitment, we're anticipating our growth between 2021 and 2022. When you look at our expenses, you see the similar growth there, and as I just said, that is primarily in salaries, wages, and benefits, and our supplies, and then an increase in our depreciation expense for a lot of the capital items that we've just put in place. Our net surplus is 3.7, as you saw on the previous slide. Normalized after the CARES Act funding would be 1.1, and then next year. But you can see the ups and downs in the past. Really, in the past 21 years, there has only been 1 year with a loss, and that was 2016. And that was actually an anticipated and planned loss. That was the year that the North Campus was purchased, and there was a lot of staffing and supplies to get that certified, inspected, and back up to code to be able to be opened. So strategically, that was very good for the organization. We look at our volumes and discharges. You can see that we've budgeted an increase in our overall number of discharges next year. We're anticipating with the North Campus Emergency Room about 25 more patients a day. Generally, we admit about 10% of the patients that come to our emergency room. We decided to be a little conservative, and we budgeted to admit 5% of the patients that come in that incremental 25 patients a day because they may be of lower acuity at the North Campus and due to uncertainty. Patient days, you can see that we continue to grow in our patient day volume. And then we have the capital budget. The way we work our capital budget is we look at our anticipated bottom line. We say take out the non-cash items and say what our cash would be generated. So from cash flow, we have about $5.6 million anticipated in next year's budget. We put some into savings to grow our days cash on hand and some to reinvest in our facilities and growth. So $3.5 million in capital is our budget for next year on that as well. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Dion?
The last thing that I have here is just a thank you for your support and trust in us. I've talked to most of you over the course of the last year or so, and just appreciate that you're always there whenever we need you. And then working collaboratively with the parish, a couple of things I wanted to mention is that, we appreciate, I know that we're in the process of finalizing both the parish and Generette being able to donate to the hospital for our clinic out there, that we continue to operate and hope to grow services in that area as well. So just wanted to tell you how much we appreciate your support with that. And then also the collaboration with the VA, being able to have the VA services on our campus. On our North Campus, we anticipate them moving onto our campus possibly in December. And so that would be very well to have the services rendered in a place that is more appropriate for that type of service to be rendered. And then also to let you know that we think that, we have also entered into contracts as a part of the new VA Community Care Network, so that hopefully as those services and the counseling that's needed happens on our campus, we can also try to accommodate more and more services here locally for our vets as well. So we're committed to trying to work more aggressively with the parish on that.
Any questions for Ms. Dion to finish up, members? I think the
I have a
parish
comment
president.
whenever.
I have no requests. Parish president?
Yeah, I just want to, again, thank you so much, Dion, for making that office building available for the veterans in Iberia Parish and the surrounding area, in particular Iberia Parish. This is a very, very big deal for us. Council members may remember when we had a very, very small place across the street, and we called ourselves expanding into a big place, which is still a very, very small place. But with what you're doing for us, and I appreciate the fact that I just found out, you told me that the air conditioning unit is in now. I did speak to Ms. Brown with Veterans Affairs, and I'm going to give her a call on Friday and make her aware that we can try to make that move for December the 1st, so maybe before or shortly thereafter, whenever they're available. But again, I can't express as a veteran, I can't express my gratitude to you and your staff for how fast you made it happen. Thank you.
Glad to do it.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Dion.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, I had a motion by Councilman Paul Andrew and a second by Councilman Lloyd Brown. Here no other discussions. Roll call members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, here no opposition. The ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving back to the consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Madam Clerk.
Minutes, regular meeting of October 27th, 2021. Summary number 180, introduced by the parish president, a resolution certifying to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development that the parish has met all the prerequisites to participate in the off-system bridge replacement program for the period of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Summary number 181, introduced by the parish president, a resolution of condolences to the family of former Iberia Parish Council member Richard Chico Picante, who passed away on October 26, 2021. Summary number 182, introduced by Lloyd Brown, District 4, a resolution of condolences to the family of former Iberia Parish School Board member Miss Clara Lee DeGay Carrier, who passed away on October 29, 2021.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Lloyd Brown, a second by Councilman Michael Landry. Before we do that, Mr. Brown, I'll just need a motion to strike out on summary 180. If there's no one wants to pull out any, is to strike out period of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Just leaving it for a program for 2021. Is that okay with the motion in the second? Is there any discussion? Anyone, any member willing to take anything out of the consent agenda? Hearing none, roll call members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 5140, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance adopting a statement of determination that reapportionment of Iberia Parish election district boundaries is necessary with the Census 2020 population count in order to rebalance the district populations to within plus or minus 5% of the ideal district population of 5,023 residents.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, a second by Councilman Lloyd Brown. Councilman Landry? Councilman Brown? Any discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5141, introduced by the Regional Planning Commission. Madam Clerk?
An ordinance approving the reclassification request for property of Troy Buteau located at 913 View Lane, with said parcel being zoned to I-1 Light Industrial, located in District 10, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report ZC 2021-0008, all is reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Lloyd Brown. Councilman Landry, Councilman Brown. We do have the Planning and Zoning Director, Boudreaux, here, if there's any questions. You want to give a brief statement, Mr. Boudreaux?
Freeman Properties owns quite a bit of other industrial property adjacent to this. They're going to buy it from Troy Buteau and use it for similar purposes to what the neighbors are using their properties for. Put it into commerce.
I like that, Reed. Thank you.
Me too.
Any questions for Mr. Boudreaux? Hearing none, any more discussion on the main motion? Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 183, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Ms. Jennifer Duet to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board, representing business and labor for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by expiration of term for Ms. Jennifer Duet, whose term expires December 31st, 2021.
Do you have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry and a second by Councilman Paul Landry. Councilman Landry? Councilman Landry? Any discussion on this? Ms. Duet did not show up to address the council at this time, so I ask for some guidance here. I do have a substitute motion by Councilman Paul Landry to table for 30 days. And let's set to the next deal. The next meeting would be December 15th.
11/17.
You want to just give 1 week? Okay. Well, okay. So I have a motion to table to November 17th by Councilman Paul Landry, and I think that was okay with the second by Councilman Tommy Pollard. Any discussion on the table? Hearing none, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion is tabled until the next meeting of November 17th. Moving on to summary number 184, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Ms. Darlene French to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board, representing the community for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Darlene French, whose term expires December 31st, 2021.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Tommy Pollard and a second by Councilman, is it Paul Landry? Councilman Pollard? Councilman Landry. Any discussion, members, on the main motion? Hearing none, roll call, member. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 185, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Mr. Trey Height to the 16th Judicial Children and Youth Planning Board, representing criminal justice for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Trey Height, whose term expires December 31st, 2021.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard and a second by Councilman Rawsonay. Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Rawsonay. Any other discussion, members, on the main motion? Hearing none, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 186, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Ms. Brianna Davis to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board, representing parenting and youth organizations for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Brianna Davis, whose term expires December 31st, 2021.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard and a second by Councilman Pollard. Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Pollard. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 187, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Mr. Darren Bork to the Iberia Parish Communications District representing the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department for the remainder of a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Ms. Tony Pickney, whose term expires January 14th, 2025.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Rossini. Councilman Landry waves, Councilman Rossini. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, man, that didn't sound like 14. Let's try that again. Those in favor? Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Well, I just want to make sure it didn't sound like 12 either, Mr. Landry. I appreciate the assessment. Summary number 188, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Ms. Cassie Duhon to the Iberia Parish Communications District representing the new Iberia Police Department for the remainder of a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Major Carl Barnett, whose term expires May 28, 2025.
Do you have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Michael Landry and a second by Councilman Rossini. Councilman Landry? Councilman Rossini. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 189, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing Mr. Daniel A. Bear to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission for the remainder of a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Dave Romero, whose term expires June 2nd, 2025.
Do you have a motion?
I gotta tell you something.
Yeah, I got it. Motion by Councilman Mathurin, a second by Councilman Trahan, Marty Trahan. Just to note that Mr. Andrew Dumasel was left off of publication, but he did approach the council tonight and speak, so he does qualify. If I can have a motion to amend, is it okay with the motion in a second?
But we'll need to go ahead and vote individually.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so get your district cards. You'll have the opportunity between Mr. Dumasil and Mr. Hebert. Vote your cards, members. Are you through voting, members? Just put D.
Just put Andrew.
You voted, Andy? Thank you. I asked that earlier. They said no. He said can.
189.
Because if we vote Dumasil in tonight, then that doesn't comply with what he's saying.
I think that was the trade-off.
I think we changed the language from shall to may. I think it was changed.
You want to make sure?
I think it was.
The clerk will tally the roll call. Clerk will tally the roll.
They're getting confused between the agenda we have and the agenda that changed. They don't see the name on it.
Yeah, that was the substitute motion that we just had on the floor to add Mr. Dumasil. He was not put into the record. He was left out unintentionally, but he did apply tonight. I'm sorry, he did apply and then he did speak before the council.
Why don't we just vote on it next week then? If it's confusing.
Okay, Mr. Dumasil did apply. He was in. He did come tonight before the council. Therefore, he qualifies to be able to be in the race.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, then you said y'all were confused, so I'm trying to
Oh,
understand.
I'm not confused, I voted already.
Oh, okay, great. Anyone else that did not get an opportunity to vote yet, members?
Mr. Brown.
Oh, Mr. Brown. Mr. Pollard, if you wouldn't mind, please, could you get that roll call from Mr. Brown?
With Daniel or Andrew? Andrew.
One name, Mr. Brown, one name. We apologize for that, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Pollard, did we miss your birthday this week?
We did.
Happy birthday, Mr. Pollard.
While the clerk adds the roll, you ready? Okay, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Okay, District 1, A. Bear. District 2, A. Bear. District 3, A. Bear. District 4, Andrew.
A. Bear.
A. Bear.
Oh, no, that's Dumasil.
Andrew Dumasil.
Dumasil. Mr. Brown.
District 5, Andrew Dumasil. District 6, Daniel Abear. District 7, Andrew Damasau. District 9, Andrew Damasau. District 10, Daniel Abear. District 11, Andrew Damasau. District 13, is Daniel Abear? Mr. Abear. And District 14, Mr. Abear. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
That's a tie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's not enough. 7-5. Mr. Abear, 7. Mr. Damasau.
Yeah.
Dumasel, 5. Revote, members. Revote. You okay, Mr. Brown? All right. Read through voting, members. Vote number 2. Thank you, Mr. Shealy. Michael, we appreciate your service crossing over the party lines.
I don't think he does that.
That's a good point. The clerk will record the roll.
District 1, Mr. Abear. District 2, Mr. Abear. District 3, Mr. Abear. District 4, Mr. Abear. District 5, Mr. Damasau. District 6, Mr. Abear. District 7, Mr. Damasau. District 9, Mr. Damasau. District 10, Mr. Abear. District 11, Mr. Damasau. District 13, Mr. Damasau. And District 14, Mr. Damasau. So,
It seems like we had a couple of flips.
yeah,
We have a tie, members. 6 for Mr. Dumasil and 6 for Mr. Abear. Roll call and vote 3, members. Roll call and vote 3. Remember, we have 2 choices. Are you through voting, members? Hey, y'all. Mr. Shealy, we appreciate you. They swapped again? Oh my God. You swap your vote. What you gonna go home and say? Oh, we had to get out of here at some point. The clerk will record the roll. Vote 3.
District 1, Mr. Abear. District 2, Mr. Abear. District 3, Mr. Abear. District 4, Mr. Abear. District 5, Mr. Demisel. District 6, Mr. Abear. District 7, Mr. Damasau. District 9, Mr. Damasau. District 10, Mr. Abear. District 11, Mr. Damasau. District 13, Mr. Damasau. And District 14, Mr. Damasau.
We have a tie, members. Mr. Dumasil, 6. Mr. Abear, 6. Roll call and vote number 4. Members, vote number 4. Vote number 4. Are you through voting, members? Mr. Brown, we have a blank sheet for you from the last one. You want us to keep that one, or are you going to write one in? Yes, sir. Same one? Record the same vote for Mr. Brown. Record the same vote for Mr. Brown, please. Thank you, Mr. Richard. No, we had six. Six. 12 votes. I hadn't seen the candy come out yet, so I guess we still good.
Thank you.
You can't put all for 14 votes. Mr. Brown, is that for vote 4? Wait, we already made you said to go with the same ballot? Okay. That's for vote 5 if the case. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. The clerk will record the roll for vote 4.
District 1, A. Bayer. District 2, A. Bayer. District 3, A. Bayer. District 4, A. Bayer. District 5, Domicile. District 6, Domicile. District 7, Domicile. District 9, Domicile. District 10, A. Bayer. District 11, Domicile. District 13, Domicile. And District 14, Domicile.
The official roll call, Dumacil 7, Abear 5. All right, members. Roll call vote for number 5. I'm doing okay tonight. No candy and no recess. Are you through voting, members? Thank you, Mr. Richard. You switched? He sells it. Oh. Vote 5, members. Vote 5. Mr. Brown should be in there. He sent us down. Right? Mr. Councilman Pollard, can we get Councilman Brown's vote that was near you somewheres there? I think he anticipated a. Well, can we get him to sign that one? The clerk will record the roll for vote 5. Vote number 5.
District 1, Mr. Domicile. District 2, Mr. A. Bayer.
Oh.
District 3, Mr. A. Bayer. District 4, Mr. A. Bayer.
One flips.
District 5, Mr. Domicile. District 6, Mr. Domicile. District 7, Mr. Domicile.
Okay.
District 9, Mr. Domicile. District 10, Mr. Domicile. District 11, Mr. Domicile. District 13, Mr. Domicile.
You might have it.
And District 14, Mr. Domicile.
9 votes for Mr. Dumacil and 3 votes for Mr. Abear. There's no recount, is there? No recount. Mr. Dumacil, congratulations. You have won. Thank you for stepping up, sir. Moving on to summary number 190, introduced by the Library Board. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2021 Public Library Fund budget in the amount of $144,500 to provide payment to Vermillion Parish for joint operations of the Delcom Library branch, all to be funded from the fund balance previous year.
Do you have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Marty Trahan, second by Councilman Montaran. Councilman Trahan? Councilman Montaran? Any discussion, members, on the main motion? Hearing none, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 191, introduced by legal counsel. Madam Clerk?
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement by and between Iberia Parish Government, Iberia Parish Library Board of Control, Vermilion Parish Police Jury, and Vermilion Parish Library Board of Control, Delcombe Branch Library, providing for the effective date thereof and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Trahan. Councilman Landry. Any discussion, members? Quick question, 10,000 flat, right? Yearly. Hearing no other discussion, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. I'll need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Pollard. Any discussion on adjournment? Hearing none, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries.